Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Wednesdays with Woody.
It's Wednesdays.
And we're back interrupting your mundane Wednesday to bring you this this hot ass mess of a show where we discuss everything trending and or topical. I'm not sure whether that and or was necessary, but we're here. I can't believe we're well within Virgo season with just 4 months left of the year. It's kind of wild to think about. And as we wind down, all I'm busy thinking about is how I just want 2022 to end on a peaceful note from the drama that we started off with at the start of the year. A war, a pandemic, just wildness. Hopefully we just end this year on just a positive, calm, relaxing note, because I don't think your boy can take anymore. I've been spending the last week in a sort of a recluse state of mind, just trying to catch my bearings around life and what's going on. When I think about the last 2 years, I think about how quickly and traumatic the experience of going into a hard lockdown, or lockdown for that case, which left many of us in a very isolated state, and then having to quickly come out of that and be these social beings and, I don't know, navigate our way back into the old ways of working, as many people have said before. And I have such a heavy problem with that. I always believe if something wasn't working before, what on earth makes you think us going back to such a state, what benefit there could be for all of us? And I don't know if it's just me, but I've really found that from a mental and social capacity, getting back into the routine of being around people on a continuous basis has become quite strenuous and almost like a battle, you know? I find myself very depleted from being around people for extended periods of time and then having to rush back into a sort of solitude state, you know. I sometimes get the feeling that we rushed out of lockdowns. We rushed out of these states and didn't give ourselves enough time to really process exactly what we needed to process about the next couple of steps. So very recently, I've been trying to take the time just to pause and really think things through, slow down. I found that after lockdowns that I immediately went about rushing into existence, rushing into life. Looking back, I now have very deep regrets about that. I should have taken baby steps. I should have been a little bit more gentle with myself, because from a mental capacity, child, it is taking its goddamn strain, and it's so important that we really protect and nurture ourselves. I mean, obviously I think we're all doing it in very different ways, from either quietly quitting, which has been something trending over the last couple of weeks, I think. Yeah, quietly quitting, which has been trending over the last couple of weeks, or the great resignation. Just human beings trying to find a balance and an equilibrium with this existence that we live, you know. Also trying to prioritize other aspects of our lives as being more important than the aspects that we had previously thought were important. I know that before lockdown, I was primarily focused on career building. I saw it as something very important in order to just exist and survive in this world from a financial perspective. But during lockdown and subsequently after lockdown, I really do question that, whether that is really the cornerstone of what I should be striving for. You know, I find myself spending or yearning to spend a lot more time with my family, just because, geez, this existence is so fleeting, very fleeting. You could, in fact, you, all of us, any of us really, we could all wake up tomorrow and it's another changed experience. We don't talk about the pandemic anymore, and it almost feels like there's a what is the word? A ban on talking about the pandemic, or even using the word at all in many areas of life, be it in media or be it in our work environments. We don't talk about the psychological effects that complete experience has had on many of us, how it's changed us, how it's still changing us to this day in many aspects, you know. I always find myself scrolling through the socials, just trying to pick up if there's another outbreak of something happening in some part of the world. Monkeypox didn't have quite the same effect, but obviously the experience of moving out of a heightened COVID response into a lukewarm response to monkeypox, which I think I've mentioned before, for me has been quite alarming, but that's another discussion and another topic altogether. So yeah, I've just been trying to center myself, find myself, and you know, I always have troubles with that, finding yourself. What does that even mean? What does that even look like? I know that back in my more youthful years, I used to say it's pointless trying to find yourself. That is just a lost endeavor. Don't look for that person, because that version of yourself will always be a farce. Nothing real, nothing true. Rather try creating the version of yourself that you need to be. And that's been quite challenging the older I get, trying to create a new version of myself to exist in the world. And I'm a person who believes that the perfect state of existence is chaos, which is a bit weird for many people, but the perfect state of existence is chaos, because in chaos, that is when constant creation can really be happening. And when you're not creating, then things are dying in my mind. So I think I'm in a moment of a slow death by the looks of it, now that I'm reflecting upon it. I'm in a moment of slow death where I'm just trying to figure out what the next picture or the next version of myself really needs to look like. How I want that person to exist in the world. Who I want that person to be. And a lot of the learnings, or a lot of the insights, or a lot of the self-reflections that I've had over COVID, coming out of COVID, are really pertinent to that, you know. The emphasizing of my family, or a family, you know, creating a family. I hate to say it, but I am in a broody state of mind, which is kind of weird for me. I never wanted to have children ever before, but I'm broody all of a sudden. And wanting to spend time with my family, wanting to spend time with my sisters, my parents, my extended family, Ryan's family, just craving that more than anything else. And all of this really, for me, more than anything, it really does remind me of the importance of taking care of oneself from a mental capacity, you know. Before COVID-19, we knew that depression was going to be something that was going to be on the rise for the future, and that would be almost like the next big illness. And I don't want to give depression that type of a label, because it's on a spectrum, as many things are in this life. But taking care of your mental well-being has become really just very important for me personally. Taking care of your mental capacity, practicing self-love, self-care, all those good stuff. Remembering your self-worth, which, oh gosh, when I look back, I'm just like, oh, I wish I had what is it? The gumption of a younger Woody. Yes, the gumption of a younger Woody who was ready to take on the world, you know. Right now I'm in a state of mind, in a phase of life where I'm just like, I don't want to take over anything. No. That ain't for me. That's for other people. I need it all to slow down. I need it all to allow me to breathe and not be suffocated by my existence. So that's primarily where I've been. I mean, I have been kind of distant on the socials, but I've caught glimpses of what's happening out there. From the premiere with Harry Styles and the Spitgate. What was the name of that movie? Oh, Don't Worry, Darling. From the Spitgate premiere, from the Don't Worry press tour. I think that's what you call it, yeah. You call it, is it a press tour or is it a movie tour? Not sure. But the Spitgate incident, and obviously the rumors that are coming out around the tensions that existed within the cast. I mean, I haven't watched this movie, though I will watch it because I just want to understand, like, what is this movie about? But more importantly, why is there so much tension between these cast members? And that really does speak to working environments, you know. Another avenue, and I don't want to get into it, another avenue which is very central and very important to our everyday lived experiences as human beings, you know. The whole thing kind of reminds me of a conversation I was having with my parents this weekend around the 5 balls of life, which was a speech given by former Coca-Cola CEO Brian Dunson. And I'm just going to take an extract from the speech. He says, imagine life as a game in which you are juggling some 5 balls in the air. You name them work, family, health, friends, and spirit. And you're keeping all of these in the air. You will soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. But the other 4 balls, family, health, friends, and spirit, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, they will be irrevocably scuffed, marked, nicked, and damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same. You must understand that and strive for balance in your life. And I think that's really important. I think that's really important just coming out of the horrors of this year, you know, the horrors of a pandemic, the horrors of monkeypox, the horrors of a war in Ukraine, which was a little bit scary at one point. I mean, it's tragic what's going on, but when I thought about it, at least in the context of the world and the possibility of a 3rd World War, it was a bit frightening, and we undermine these instances of trauma, even if it's a trauma that's a tremor, like nothing too massive, nothing that's going to rock your entire universe, something that sits in the periphery of your mind's eye. But these things have an effect on your everyday to-day business, your everyday life, your existence. And I don't know. You know, I keep talking about us winding down the year and trying to remain zen. But maybe the most important thing is just trying to find balance between what the outside world wants from you and what you need from yourself. Yeah, and I'm on that journey right now, you know, trying to sift through that. I always thought that my 30s would present themselves very differently, but someone reminded me today that you are exactly where you need to be in your life right now, whether you are going through a really tough time, whether you're going through a hardship, whether it is whatever it is, whether it's a joyous moment, whether it's a celebration of note, you are exactly where you need to be right now, and you are called to the moment to, I don't know, either find something of yourself, give something to the world, do nothing at all, or challenge, whatever it is that you are, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is that you find in that moment for yourself, that's just for you. And I'm hoping, I really am hoping that this year ends on a peaceful note. I'm hoping it ends on a peaceful note. I'm hoping that we find peace. We find peace with where we are in our lives, where they're going, where they're leading us. Personally, I'm going to stop trying to plot my existence. I think I'm all worn out. I'm going to trust in something higher, far higher than myself. And hopefully that journey presents itself a little bit more exciting than my own endeavors have done, because they have exhausted me out completely. But yeah. So, as we wrap up this Wednesday's edition of Wednesdays with Woody, once again, I just want to thank you for joining me as I ramble about Lord knows what. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for lending me your ears. Yeah. And I hope you join me next week. As always, I don't know what I'm going to be discussing. It will probably be on the whim or on the fly. I don't even know right now. I am just going to go with the flow and try to revel in the moment, try to enjoy the moment, try to live in the moment, try to be present, or as present as I possibly can be in it, and try to breathe and realize that a couple of months from now, all of this could be a wild fantasy that I was having, and that things will actually look always different. But I'm just going to be in the moment. And I'm hoping that you also just find your moment and you stay present in it. So until then, adios amigos.